Hey there, Fai here with a very important experiment. What's more experimental? What is more important than this video? Basically, where I'm at the moment is the office block, where my office is, and over here, look out here. I'll quickly show you. This is I'm down on the this side here. Over on the left is mine, and then Datelab is over here, and then we've got another company over there, and then we look down there. Oh, I don't really see those guys, so down there are a few other companies, and we all are addicted to coffee. And the end result is, of course, this here. I've just shown you. And we're all using these little, which are now apparently known as Bialettis. My brother told me this. So this one's mine. As you can see, well used. It has had a lot of use. These guys are even ahead of me. They've been using this for even longer, and these guys clearly are not taking their coffee making very seriously. Anyway, the one big problem with these things is that the espresso comes out without a crema. Okay, crema is this thing here. So look, there's lovely foam on there, which is pretty much essential to any good espresso. So, as you can see here, wow, what is this? Alright, this is the new Bialetti Bricca, which just got delivered by the lovely Amazon man. So let's have a look. I cannot remember the name. I look at the box and goes Bialetti, yes, but it's like Balotelli. I really hope the coffee that we can create with this is just as sublime as the result that Balotelli can create without being quite as temperamental. Anyway, here is the new Balotelli Bialetti coffee maker that allegedly can create espresso on the stove. I'm going to have to put this down now. Let's do some very professional video in here. Alright, so here's the machine that allegedly can create coffee with a crema. And there's a reason for this, a marketing reason. We're going to do some marketing experiment, alright? Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an experiment. The one thing I found on Amazon is people are going, well actually, when you want to create the perfect espresso with this thing, you have to use a little less water than they advise, and you have to, with the pressure of the coffee in there, etc., etc. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So what I've got here is the same coffee in 4 different grinds. Ignore this, okay? It's just the box I'm using. In here we have got the same coffee as the other ones. I just wanted to keep the light conditions just right. So this is. It's not it's super fine S. This is size number 5, this is number 7, and this is number 9. So different grinds, and when we look at these here, for example, I don't know if you can see, that is, the coarse stuff, that's the coarsest we've got. Hang on 1 second. Alrighty. This over here is the super fine. You can see, alright? This is so fine that it starts clumping up here. Well, it's not clumping, it's just that it's starting to stick together with this is so kind of quite coarse. There you go. So the idea is I need to figure out what amount of water and what grind is the perfect one to create the perfect Bialetti espresso. And then I'll show you all of that in terms of pictures down below this video. But at the end, what we're going to do is do a little analysis, and I'll show you the relevance to marketing. Alrighty, so I'm going to go and start setting this up, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, the first thing here is, if you see over here, this marker is how much water you're supposed to use, according to Balotelli. However, most people on Amazon say if you use a little bit less, like 5 milliliters less than that, you get a better crema. So that's the first thing we're going to do. But I'm going to keep that a constant, and the only thing we're going to vary is the coffee grind we're using. Alrighty, so water in, and then we're going to go set this up and start using this high-powered 1962 model Cadillac Coupe de Ville to heat up the Balotelli. See in a sec. Okay, here we go. So there is the enough water for 2 Italian cups. I mean, that little bit of water. It's ridiculous. That is enough for 2 Italian cups, which of course I'm going to fill into. This is now going to be my standard measuring, slightly dented, but there you go, my standard measuring and evaluation and nose sniffing, etc. cup. So that one, and let's start with the coarsest coffee. And the reason to start with that, as opposed to the finest, is that when I went to... Oh, by the way, why am I using this coffee here? Caffè Freddo. It's a local roasting place. They roast their own coffee, and it's pretty darn good. And of course, they've got one of these super high-tech grinding machines. Costs several €1,000. So it's always the perfectly, it's perfectly even. You always get exactly the same result. And that's why I'm using their pre-ground coffee here for my testing. We're starting with the coarsest, because if I start with the finest and it blocks up all the the whole filter thing, etc., and it explodes in the kitchen and I'm dead, not very cool. So that's where we're starting with the coarsest. And it's, by the way, the one they recommend in the shop in Caffè Freddo. Now, one interesting thing about the manual, the manual, which is like this thing here, one page, the manual how to use this, is do not tamper it. Do not press it down, which is rather unusual, because normally, that's how you vary the speed with which the water flows through the coffee. But who's going to argue with Balotelli? At least not on the first attempt. And later on, once I've kind of refined this whole system and figured out which one is the best grind, then I can start varying the water and start varying the pressure I use in here. Anyway, this is setup number 1. Hopefully it's not going to explode. We're going to see what happens now. What we're going to do is put this baby on here, put this to max power, and then, okay, now we're going to wait. Okay, see you in a sec. Oh look, it's already been on there for like 2 seconds and it's still not boiling. Well, it's not even hot. So, I think I'll come back when it starts bubbling. Apparently, what was that word? Blumming? Bubbling. Apparently 2 to 12 minutes. We'll see. God, I'm so excited. Kramer in the office. Look, all of these here. Bye, go home. I hope. Wow, that was pretty instantaneous. It was so fast. I didn't have time to fire up the camera. Normally, with these guys, it starts to bubble. You can hear it starts hissing, and then whoosh, out it comes. This guy was just sitting there quietly. I was like, all right, in a minute, I'll switch on the camera, and boom, out came coffee. So this is interesting looking. It's certainly not the killer crema I'd been hoping for, but it's fine. It's a pretty coarse grind, so I'm hopeful that we can produce something a little bit better than this. But having said that, we're not going to be judgmental here without trying it. So coffee over dose number 1 for today. Oh, by the way, true Italian style, this is now 2 espressos. I don't know if you can tell. Okay, this is up to this line. That is tiny. That is proper Italian espressos. But as you can see, once you've poured it in here, the crema is gone. So far, that grind probably is not going to be the major winner. But I will try it now and then see, we'll go from there. What I should do is run this side by side through one of the other ones, just to see what the flavors that comes out. It's okay, but it's nothing sensational. I think this is what I'm going to do in the pictures down below. Okay, so you don't have to actually follow through with the next 4 experiments. Alrighty, so I'll keep setting this up. I'll put the pictures down below, and I'll give you. What I'll do is I'll do one more recording. I'll leave the camera running for the sort of instant explosion when the thing comes out. It's exciting. Alright, see you in a sec. Okay, not bad. That's the slightly finer grind. That's number 7. I'm going to stop this now. But you saw how it came out. It's quite interesting, isn't it? But it sort of disintegrates rather quickly. So, yeah. You see this in real time happening now. Started off beautifully. Well, one of the problems you've got here, of course, is that you have to refill it. Normally, a coffee machine goes straight into a coffee cup, or your espresso cup, and then it basically you don't fiddle with the creamer. This one here is already, it's not sensational in here, for this grind at least, and then once I start refilling it, let's do that now. And of course, there's hardly anything left. That's just, no, it's basically, well, minuscule amount. Okay, so well, there you go. You saw the pitch, which is quite interesting, and so I'll see in a sec for the conclusion of all of this. And it's basically all got to do with how people approach solving problems, for example, in internet marketing. How the one question I keep hearing over and over again: can I get a step-by-step plan? Show me step-by-step how to do this, do that, do the other, make money. And what I saw online here on Amazon when I bought this thing was, you need to fill in a little bit less water, you put your coffee powder in, and you'll get a great creamer. Well, as you just saw, if I start with different types of coffee grind, same coffee powder but different grinds, I get totally different results. I mean, we saw the little video snippets. Some of the crema just disappeared within seconds. Now, what we're aiming for here is a successful result, which is a long-lasting, beautiful, creamy crema. And that is exactly where most people go wrong when they do this thing online. They go in and they want a step-by-step plan. And I tell you, the only step-by-step plan you'll ever need from someone else. That was interesting. So we're going to have a look. That's a very interesting one. Looks different. It was a beautiful color, no doubt about it. Absolutely terrific color. But I already can tell you this is going to disintegrate rather quickly. As you can see, the dark colors, they are disappearing very quickly. So, and I'm running out of battery in the camera. Very nice, perfect timing. So let's have a look how quickly this basically disintegrates into nothing. I mean, it's just a gut feeling. I'll measure it in a second on the video, but I think it's lasting a little bit longer than the one in the previous video. Very interesting. Look at that. On the sides, it goes very dark, but doesn't actually disappear. It just goes dark and stays there for a little while. That's like observing snakes, isn't it? Or alligators or something. Oh, look! It's sitting there. It's looking at me. I wonder what it's thinking. I don't wonder what this thing is thinking. I hope it's not thinking, I'm going to explode in your face. Alrighty. Still there. Now you can see it sort of, dying off around here. Cool. So all in all, basically I haven't figured out how to create the perfect crema just yet. But that's not the point, because it brings me back to the original idea here. The only step-by-step plan you'll ever need is an overall big picture step, and you have to fill in everything else in there. Because if I told you, go and like I said on Amazon, go and take coffee powder, fill it in there. Well, there are too many variables. You just don't know, okay? It depends on your taste. What do you want? I mean, ultimately, I would have loved to have some really thick, solid crema. But at the end of the day, what counts is the taste. And I can already tell you, this tastes a whole lot better than what I normally get out of the other machine. So that in itself is a success. But without knowing what it is you want, what your taste is, if you like, there's no point having a step-by-step plan. So the only step-by-step plan you'll ever need is step 1, come up with your own plan, and then start experimenting, start filling in. And yes, now I'm sitting on 4 bags of coffee, which I somehow need to redistribute because, 3 of them are not the ideal thing, ideal to be defined. I don't know about this one yet here. Well, I already know that I can use one at home in the coffee machine there. Maybe I can regrind some of the other stuff. But anyway, that's the whole point. If you go out and look for a step-by-step plan, it's very, very unlikely to give you the results you want, because A, the step-by-step plan doesn't know what you want. Plus, your starting conditions, your environment, everything, your water is totally different from my water. The guys on Amazon, some people say, oh, this is far too bitter when you use fine grind and not enough water. Other people might just think, look, I could use this stuff to strip the oil off my bicycle chain. That's just the perfect kind of coffee. Alrighty, with that, go and have some fun, have a great weekend, and go and brew some coffee. Cheers.